everybody tells me, they're like, wow, you're so on time. I get that all the time. Like, that should be normal. I hate when people are late.
Oh, crazy. Crazy. I have waited, I won't name names, I have waited like 3 hours one time for an artist.
Oh
It's crazy.
my God.
But that's good. Are you like that? Like, are you just responsible like that in your everyday life?
I want to say yes, but usually no. I'm just like, I hate when people keep me waiting, so I'm always like 10 minutes early to everything I have to do.
Right. I'm just a good old hypocrite because I hate that too, but then I do it to other people.
But then you're like, yeah. It happens.
Congratulations on Darkest Hour, by the way.
Thanks.
So what is it, almost 2 weeks now? I guess it's 2 weeks tomorrow.
Yeah, which is crazy. Time is flying by.
Is it I think it's different for every artist and every person that puts out music, the feeling right afterwards. I know people that get really excited. That's when the excitement starts. I know people that almost like get like down because they're like, well, now what? You know, now it's out. How do you feel about it?
I think because it was my very first single, it was like a weight was lifted because now that like the first one is out and it's been such an amazing response, now I'm like, all right, let's go. Like I want to do more. So It's been a really good feeling.
How long were you kind of sitting on it? Like how long did you have it finished before it dropped? Was it a long time?
So long. We wrote the song almost exactly a year ago from when it was put out.
Oh, wow. That's the hardest part as an artist, right?
Oh my God, yeah. Like there were so many times where I just wanted to put it out or put teasers out, but I was like, I gotta wait, I gotta do it right, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah. Well, no, and the response has been so tremendous. All right, so let's get to some of these questions. There's so many of them. We got you for like 15 or so minutes, so we'll see how many we can get to. But these were sent in across Instagram, and I think they're pretty cool. So this comes from @AbbyLindley, and they say, if you could describe the type of music you're making now in 3 words, what words would you choose?
Ooh, 3 words. I would say combination, because it's a combination of many things. Dark, a lot of it's pretty dark, and authentic.
Okay, right on. When you say it sounds dark or it is dark, is that born out of what maybe the headspace you are when you're writing it, or do you sonically like darker toned music?
I think I just like darker toned music. That's always what I've been drawn to, and so it was like natural for me to just go with that vibe. But I'm still figuring out like my voice and what my sound will be. I'm sure I'll put out many different sounding things within the future, but we'll see.
Yeah. It's funny how, like, you know, I like all kinds of music, but there's something about those darker songs, or whether it's a sadder song or whatever, it's more relatable. So I don't know if that's totally all sad or what, but it's like, you know, real joyous song. It's like, it's a good song. I don't know if I relate to it, though. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No, I have, like, so many playlists of just sad songs that I'll listen to even when I'm happy. And I'm like, is this concerning?
What's wrong with me? All right, cool. Let's get to this next one. @Kese... Oh, man. I'm just going to call you Kese. Who are your overall favorite artists or bands?
It changes all the time, but right now I have been listening to a ton of Ash Nico. I just found her.
Yeah, dude.
She's amazing. She makes me feel like a badass. Can I cuss? I don't know.
Yeah,
she makes me feel like a bad bitch every time I listen to her. And then I've also been listening to Sasha Sloan a ton. She's just always been one of my favorites. She's amazing. So those are my top 2 at the moment.
Dude, Cry by Ash Nico and Grimes is just like a rager.
That song makes me feel like I am unstoppable.
Dude, totally. Totally. And then I remember the first time I ever saw the video for, what is it, Stupid Boy? Is that what it's called? And they're just like, murdering folks. Like,
it's so dope.
so hard.
So good.
It's crazy. That's awesome, though. All right, @_CarlyLynn_, what would you say is one rule you live by?
One rule I live by? To just trust the universe, which sounds like very like trust the universe, but like to just trust that what's meant to be will be, and not stress too much about things that are out of my control. I've been really trying to do that, especially in quarantine, because like there are so many things out of our control right now that I'm just trying to be like, I'm just gonna trust that what's meant to be mine will be mine, and if not, well, that sucks.
Totally. You know what I think is like an important caveat to that, because I totally hear you of like, you know, like the real hippie dippy, like, universe, man, you know, is like, do your best, right? Always put your best foot forward, but then after that, it's like out of your hands.
Exactly.
You know?
As long as you're doing everything you can and doing your best, you've done it all.
Yeah, job's done basically. Then it's up to the universe.
Exactly.
How did you struggle with that in the past? 'Cause I think that's something that like everybody struggles with. Like, are there any examples that come to mind where you're like, dude, I got so caught up in stuff that like I had no say over?
Oh yeah, I mean, even in the YouTube world, when I was focused on YouTube, and YouTube would have all these changes of like monetization or like what does well on YouTube, and I was just like, I didn't have any control over that, and it's very frustrating as a creator to not really have a say in what your entire career could be. So
Isn't
that was
it
always
crazy?
frustrating.
Like talk a little bit about that really quick, because that's something I've always thought about. Is like YouTube is almost like if you were to use like a traditional example like TV, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like one week they could just decide like, oh, you know what, we're not like carrying your channel like anymore on this
Yeah,
dial. Like, you know what I mean? It's like you
crazy.
don't like you're not changing anything, but then you internalize that like, oh, it's
Yep.
just not as good. Like, what is that like?
It's exhausting. It's mentally draining and exhausting. And because I was on YouTube for 10 plus years, I just got to the point where it was like, this is not what I'm passionate about anymore. This isn't what I want to be doing with my time. And so I finally decided it's time to actually follow my passions and make the leap.
It's such an important, I think it's a skill set to have, right? It's like recognizing when it's time to move on and when it's time to evolve, and it can be scary. Was it scary at all for you?
It was scary at first, but I think once I started posting snippets and talking about it more publicly, the excitement from my followers only
Right.
made me more excited because I was nervous because a lot of people, when they change over to, like from something to something new, a lot of people get backlash. But I think
Right.
because over the years, my channel has always been like a mishmash of me trying a million different things, that my followers were just kind of like ready for whatever was next.
Yeah.
So
Here's
that's
the
been
new
like,
thing.
that's been the best. It's just been the best transition ever. They made it so enjoyable.
That's awesome. All right, let's get to at softest.mads. What is the most important thing you've learned this year? I guess in addition to everything we just talked about. Is there anything
The
else?
most important thing I've learned this year is to be patient. I feel like that is something that I've always struggled with. I want to like, when I want to do something, I want to do it now. I want to achieve this. I want to reach this goal. But in life, things take time, especially right now where everything in life is so on pause. It's especially important to remind yourself to be patient and just like I said earlier, trust the universe.
Right.
It's true.
I feel like we're gonna break out into a rain dance or something.
I know, right?
All right, let's get to this next one. At Why Don't We M Music, how do you deal with the pressure of your life being online and still have so much confidence?
Well, a lot of it, I mean, there's obviously a lot that goes on behind closed doors where like I'm not always confident and like feeling myself, you know?
Right.
But I think because I've been on the internet for so long, like I started doing internet stuff when I was 12.
That's
Okay?
crazy.
I know.
What
I
is
don't know
it?
why
What
my
is
parents,
internet stuff when you're 12 though? Like, what are you doing?
I was doing like music videos to Justin Bieber songs,
Oh wow.
you know?
Yeah.
But because I've been on the internet that long, I'm just kind of used to getting feedback, whether it's good or bad, about anything I do in life. And so I've learned to just kind of mute that out and not really pay attention to it as much as maybe other people do who are new to getting so much feedback. And so that was something I had to kind of train myself to do. But through doing that, I've been able to build up my own confidence back to where it should be.
Yeah. I also think, I don't know if you went through this, but like when you first start getting feedback, right? You almost receive them as like texts, right? So the way you would respond to like a text, you'd be like, oh, this is for me and I should respond to this. But then you get to a point where you're like, well, this is just like some dude's thoughts. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, this is just the world's thoughts. And then also, I think the other big thing, right, is when you realize like, you're a person, of course, you're a human being, and you know that, your friends know that, your loved ones know that, but like to a lot of the public, like you're a symbol. So they're just like yelling at a symbol.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, no, it totally does. And a lot of the times, too, it's not even about me. Like, the people that are tweeting these hateful things or mean things, it's like, this isn't about me, you know?
Right.
Like,
Totally.
I was the vessel for the anger, but it's not about me.
Totally. Because they don't know you, so how could it possibly be about you?
Exactly.
All right, let's get to at Jack D. England. What's one goal you want to achieve that you would absolutely just blow our minds with your music career?
Ooh. I mean, there's so many goals. I have a laundry list. But I think, like, eventually, I think it'd be really cool to perform at an award show, whether it be like a
Yeah.
VMA type thing or something. Like, I think that would be so sick to perform in front of all these other artists that I like look up to. So that's a goal, hopefully one day.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Do you have any like favorite performers, or maybe if you do you remember like a specific performance you saw on television? Like anybody
I
come to
have
mind?
one. I have one performance. It was the Christina Aguilera. Was it Moulin Rouge? Was that the song where it's like they're all coming? It was forever ago. I think I was like 10, but it's stuck in my mind. I've
Yeah,
just always loved Christina Aguilera, and that was like, I was like, damn, I'm gonna do that one day. You just wait.
yeah, and what a great singer.
I know. I love her. I love her.
That voice. All right, at Addison Colbeck, if your EP was turned into a movie, I love it. Like for somebody that's supposed to ask questions for a living, the fans come up with like the best questions.
Dude, they do.
They really do. Like they're very creative. A lot of them should become like hosts or interviewers or whatever. If your EP was turned into a movie, who would you want to play the main character? It's a great question.
Oh man, that is a good question. I mean, I'd want to play me, but if it wasn't me, maybe maybe like Christina Aguilera. She looks nothing like me. I just love her in case you can't tell.
Yo, for the rest of the live, every answer just has to be
Christina Aguilera.
What's your favorite food?
Christina Aguilera, of course.
I'm down with that though. All right, at HMTER Hyun. I don't know what can we expect from the Darkest Hour music video? Have you shot a music video?
Yes. So the music video drops tomorrow.
Ooh.
I know. Yeah. So we shot the music video maybe like a month and a half ago,
Okay.
and it's a dark video. I mean, it goes with the song. It's a dark song, but I'm pretty nervous, but I'm excited. But yeah, it's going to show a lot of what I was going through when I wrote the song, which isn't pretty or glamorous, but
Right.
I think that people will like it. We'll see.
Was it tough to sort of like almost like method act that time in your life when you're out of it?
Well, thankfully, I've done some acting in my life in the past, so it felt pretty natural. And I've been in my friends' music videos and a few other music videos, so I kind of understood how it worked and how to shoot it and what needed to be done to get the correct shot that I wanted. And so it came pretty naturally to me, thankfully.
Right on. Do you like doing the videos? Like, do you think they're going to shoot another video in the near future?
Oh, absolutely. I have one already.
Wait, you have what?
I have another one planned already.
You do? All right, you got to let us know at MTV about that one. That's awesome. The Darkest Hour though drops tomorrow. All right, at Sexy Russet, would you ever be interested in having? That's their username. Would you ever be interested in having a virtual meet and greet or a virtual show?
Absolutely. I did a virtual meet and greet over, I think it was during quarantine. Yeah, of course it was. Why wouldn't, of course it was. I did a virtual meet and greet for VidCon a few months back. I think it was like June or something. And it was awesome. It was literally just like FaceTiming friends, but it's viewers. So yeah, I'd be down.
That's cool. And isn't it, I know a lot of artists like feel this way. Like the numbers are great, followers are great, you know, streaming is great. But when you put like faces to these numbers, like it's just so cool.
Absolutely.
It's nuts.
Because I can't even really comprehend the numbers when I look at the screen. Like when I see 7.1 on Twitter, I'm like, my brain can't register that. Like, I don't know what that means.
Who are you? All right, let's get to this next one. At xoxo.traphouseFam_. If you could choose anyone to collaborate with, who would it be? Say Christina Aguilera.
I should. But
you really should, for consistency purposes. But no,
I actually would really, really love to collaborate with Fletcher. I've known her for a few years now, and I always tell her, I'm like, I know that I know you, but I am your biggest fan. I love all of her music. I think she's incredible, and one day we're gonna make a Bad Bitch anthem.
Yeah, that's have you ever worked with friends before? Because that's always like very interesting. It's like going from friends to collaborators, and sometimes there's chemistry, sometimes there's not. But have you ever worked with friends?
I haven't in the music world, as far as like YouTube collabs and like working together on acting projects. I have done in that realm, but I think it'd be really cool to work with friends in music, because then it's like a whole nother level of like already knowing each other and just being so open when you write and just like being on.
And you already have that rapport. Dude, that Fletcher track would be awesome.
Yeah.
All right, at Zach Heron's Babe 14, what made you start your music career?
Um, I think it was like 2 years ago that on New Year's, I think, I finally told myself, I was like, all right, you need to stop doing the things that are placed in front of you and going after the things that you really want to do. Because I think as like an internet person, we are presented with a lot of opportunities, and a lot of them, it's not really passions. It's just like, oh, this is really cool. Yeah, I'll do that. And
Right.
so I finally just got sick of doing things that I kind of enjoyed and kind of thought was cool, and really wanted a challenge and wanted to challenge myself to go after what I really, really wanted to do. And
Yeah.
so it was time.
Well, it's like the difference between like things that make sense and things you want to do. You know, you go,
Exactly.
well, this opportunity makes sense, but then it's like, not really what I want to do.
Yep, 100%.
All right, this comes from a massive fan of yours, at Chad Tepper.
Oh,
Um,
love him.
and I think there's only one correct answer to this. Who's your favorite up-and-coming male artist?
Well, it simply has to be Chad Tepper, of course.
Of course. I mean, that's everybody's right now, isn't it?
No, he's great. He is really great.
Do you know? How do you know Chad? Do you know Chad?
So, yeah, so I did a series called Send It City, where it's like extreme sports. You're all on teams. And he was on my team. We were team influencers against like daredevils and athletes and all this stuff. And we shot it for like a week straight last month. And so I was just stuck with him in the middle of nowhere on a ranch. we became great friends.
I can imagine. That's awesome. That would be a very interesting collaboration musically.
Yes, definitely.
All right, a couple more here real quick. At Deanna Raquel, what has been the biggest challenge you faced when writing your music?
I think at first I didn't really understand how to write music, and so I just spilled everything out and was overly honest, if that's possible. It was like word vomit, and that's how Darkest Hour was born, and that's why it's so honest. But I think now that I understand it more, I almost find it more difficult now, because I'm like, oh geez, is this too honest? Now that I get it, like, am I saying too much? But thankfully I have a writing partner that I work with 99% of the time, who we know each other so well that I'm like, okay, let me tell you about my trauma so we can write about it.
Right. They take the rant and make it music, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
All right, two more quick questions. At Adoring Murray, what is your favorite thing about painting and why? Do you paint a lot? Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
I do.
Okay.
I have a studio in my house. That's right there. That room is a painting studio. I love painting because honestly, it reminds me of my parents. Both my parents are painters, and they grew up doing like paint nights, and tonight we're doing watercolors, tonight we're doing acrylic. And I didn't know that that wasn't like super normal. And so I'm really thankful to have those memories and grow up in such a creative household. And so now when I paint, it just reminds me of my family.
So is that, you know, it's funny, like some people that are multi-talented like you are, they might be a musician, but they got their start in musical theater, or they got their start in acting or whatever. Would you say like painting was what lit your creative flame, if you will, as a kid?
Absolutely. Absolutely. From the point where I was like able to speak, I was always drawing or painting or doing something in that creative world.
That's cool. Have you ever painted Christina Aguilera?
I will. Don't tempt me.
There's a video for online. You just paint this big mural and just drop it off at her house.
She's going to get a restraining order against me.
Maybe Chad should deliver it. Now there's a video. Well, Andrea, thank you so much for hanging out and taking the fan questions. And does this drop at midnight or 9 p.m. Pacific? When are you dropping the video tomorrow?
I believe the video will drop around 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So
Nice.
noon Eastern Time, I think.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Quarantine got me really good at time zones.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, just like figuring it out and whatever. But okay, so that's awesome. That's coming tomorrow, and you told us all about that. And then what's right after that? Anything you can like tease or reveal? I mean, you already think about another video, which makes me think there's more music.
Yes. So there is another single coming before the year ends, and it is. I'm so excited for the next one. I mean, I'm enjoying Darkest Hour and like how it's going. It's amazing. But of course, I'm like, all right, let's do the next. But yes, there's one more single before the year ends.
Amazing. Well, we can't wait. And thanks again. This was really nice meeting you. Really is.
Yeah, you too. You too. This has been fun.
Awesome. All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Peace. Rad. That was awesome. First time ever meeting Andrea, and you never really know what you're going to get, right? You hope people are cool. She was awesome. And we got a video coming tomorrow, which is really cool. And another video, maybe before the end of the year. At least the song, it sounds like, will be here. If you got here late, this will be on our YouTube in the next, like, I don't know, 2 hours. It's just Kevin Kenny. Same username is right there. KEVAN, KENNEY, on that YouTube channel. And then this will be on IGTV probably in a couple days. But today, you can watch the full thing if you got here late on YouTube. And remember, darkest hour of the video drops tomorrow.